And I will call the Guthrie Edmond Regional Airport Board meeting to order and note that we have a quorum present and we are recording. Is that correct?
We are recording.
All right, very good. And the second item on the agenda is public comments, airport announcements, and recognition. Do we have anyone sign up? No, okay, so hearing no public comments, airport announcements, or recognitions, we'll move to item 3, which is discussion and possible action to approve the minutes of the Guthrie Edmond Regional Airport Board meeting held on August 12th, 2025. I don't know, but the meeting minutes were in your packet. Are there any additions, corrections, or questions about the minutes to the last meeting of August 12th, 2025? Approved. There's been a motion made to approve the minutes of the Guthrie Edmond Regional Airport Board meeting of August 12th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion made, second, and laid upon the table. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Having received the majority of those appointed to and constituting the board, the motion passes. Item number 4 is the presentation and discussion. Did we not have
The financial will be later in the packet. We wanted this guest speaker to be able to get on.
All right. I apologize. I just used that coming right after the minutes. So a presentation and discussion from Lori Waldrick with Ideas Studios Branding and Marketing regarding the draft logo design for the Guthrie Edmond Regional Airport Board. Director Young.
Yes. We've talked about upgrading the logo for quite some time. Our logo's been around for quite a bit. There are some issues that we currently have with our logo. The principle being that the logo and the brand are one and the same. So, this is the symbol for the airport itself. We've had issues with putting this on different materials because of the blue sweep. Wanted to change the font. Just wanted to take a moment to work with this excellent branding and marketing team. I'm sure Lori will introduce herself. But she's done airport logos all across the state of Oklahoma. She's done a lot of work for the State Department as well. She did the Oklahoma Aerospace Foundation logo. And so with that, I'll let Lori, if she's on, I think I heard her earlier.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah,
we can.
Okay. Yeah, well, thank you for the opportunity. You want me to go ahead and dive in?
Absolutely. You should be able to host. Let me see what I need to do here. Please share computer. Go ahead if you.
Okay. Yeah, I just need to be host and then I'll be able to share here in a second.
Okay, I thought I was sharing it with you. So
it says I can. Okay, never mind. Looks like it's good to go. Okay, well, I'll just introduce myself first. I'm in Tulsa, so I'm an Oklahoman. I have been doing graphic design and marketing and branding. Really, branding is my specialty, and I've been doing it over 30 years here in town and have a lot of experience in putting together logos and brands for airports and other aviation businesses. And my kind of through the years of doing what I've been doing, I've discovered just how sometimes logos are put together and they're really hard for the client to use. Like you can't put them on and embroider them on shirts. You can't really print them on anything in black and white, or they only come in one shape. For example, yours is kind of a rectangle. What if you want to put it on an ink pen? You can't do it because it won't fit. So I work really hard to develop logos that are going to last decades. And I'm also the only specialist that focuses on airport brands. So I am a pilot. I'm a commercially rated pilot, and I do that for fun. So I've kind of blended these two areas of expertise. It kind of helps when you have a pilot or somebody who actually uses the airport do the logo for it or do the branding. That way you're not having to explain anything to me. So that's kind of me in a nutshell. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but that's my focus. I do this out of passion and a lot of experience. And I was very excited to be able to work with you guys on coming up with a new logo. My process is to always start in black and white. So what you will see today is black and white, because I want to make sure that it's good to go before we start adding color to it. And this is the most critical point of approval, why you guys are here and why, I want to be present for questions and answers. But in coming up with this logo, I wanted to do a couple of things after talking to Caden. I wanted to appreciate all of the users of the airport. So in doing that, I want to avoid it making it look too much like general aviation, small planes, and making it look too much like corporate. I've seen airports that go too far in a corporate look and feel where the training and the smaller airplanes and aviation folks feel like they're not welcome. I know there's a couple airports in Texas that are kind of victims of that, where the general aviation people feel kind of like they're, second fiddle. So in coming up with this look and feel, I wanted to give a really nice, simple, clean graphic look to it, appreciating where you've been, but also not pigeonholing you into a certain type of aviation by showing an airplane on it. Right now you've got a jet on there, but you've got more than that. You got helicopters, you got military, you have Cessnas and Cirruses and everything else coming in and out. So I kind of steered away from that and wanted to put something together that gives you a very unique look and also matches the folks that you've got on your airport. You have some pretty elegant branding on there. Airnos has a really nice looking brand. And so does the other flight school. Is it Bucks Flight School? Has a really cool look. And we want you to look as good or better, or look like, you're the ones with the best brand in there underneath you, as far as the priorities. So I really went with an elegant, simple look. The other thing that I'm going to show you is when I do come up with the logo, there's typically a mark, which is kind of the graphic, and then the text under it. In your case, there's some benefits to that, in that right now your logo is kind of integrated. It's one piece, and it's kind of, you get what you get. You can't break it apart. You can't really use it in any other form. So I wanted to give you more applicability to use it in different ways. But also I found a neat opportunity whenever I do a mark, if I can incorporate the initials, for Guthrie Edmond into it, so it's not just an arbitrary symbol with some text under it that someone else could run away with and copy. I wanted to go for that. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Do you guys have any questions before I start?
No, I don't
No.
think so.
Shut up and show me the art already, right? Okay. So what I'm showing you here is an idea I came up with that, again, what we want to do, your airport is about to get the coolest looking terminal. It's got kind of a mid-century feel, very modern, very clean and shiny looking. I know this is probably an old rendering, and I don't know if the exact finishes on the outside are going to be this, but this is what I had. And whenever I do something like this, I want it to integrate with what's going on and where it's going to appear. So I was able to take Guthrie Edmond, and as you can see, there's a G and an E incorporated into this as kind of a monogram along with the wings. And what that ends up letting you do is you can have any kind of aircraft. You can have old and new and vintage and futuristic. You can have drones, anything that flies, helicopters are all welcome. And so that's the main aspect of this. I'm showing it to you in single color. This is the mark. This is the example of the mark with the text under it. This is what I would call a bug, which has the text around it. So that would be perfect for a hat. It would be perfect to fit on something that's all self-contained. And then finally, you've got the long, wide horizontal version for the wider uses. Like if you want to put it on the top of the website, this fits in that area where you're menu buttons go. So that's the main idea here. And then as you look below, you can see how the signage, I could envision this being cut out of metal. You know, it could be, depending on the colors we go with, which we haven't done yet. We could have a patinaed copper, or we could have any kind of metal, or even just a silver cutout of this going on the side of the building. Or again, once the colors are determined, we can decide that. So that's the concept I came up with. And then these are some options. When Caden and I were kind of talking, we are like, well, let's try it with different typefaces and fonts. And that's kind of, they're interchangeable. The mark is the same, but we would want to adopt any of these. This is just an example here of the first one. And then these are some other options of an uppercase, lowercase version here as well. All caps here, and upper, lower here. They're just more personal preference. They all work. When I do typefaces, I try very hard to come up with fonts that are not going to go out of style. Like, you don't want to be looking at it 20 years later going, oh, I can tell this was done 20 years ago. So I try and pick very crisp, easy to read, practical typefaces that will last you for decades without having to go back and do them over again. When you look at upper and lowercase, that's more of kind of a casual approach, these three. Or there's the all capital version. So both of them work. It just depends on how you guys want to portray yourself. If you're very corporate, or you're more of a approachable, friendly airport. So that's my very short presentation, and I'll be quiet. Invite comments or thoughts.
I for one like it. I think it's great. What kind of colors would you recommend? Have you thought about that already?
You know, that's really why we're here. What would you guys like to see? I mean, a lot of times my clients are like, we have no idea, just tell us. But before I dive in and start putting colors on there, I'd like to kind of know if you guys have particular color scheme that you'd like to keep, or if each city has a color we want to put in, you know, if it makes sense. I'll open the floor up to you guys. Just give me suggestions, and then I can put them together with those colors. How's that for reversing the question?
What would it look like with red for the G and E, and blue for the wing, light blue for the wings? You think that would work, or is that too blasé?
Well, you know, we can try it. Like a
Kind of like flag red and blue.
Oh, like a darker blue. Okay, let's now there's some lines around there that I need to make go away. Bear with me here. It shouldn't have a line rule around it. There we go. And you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go to a new sheet. And we can put this one up here. More suggestions?
Lighten the blue.
Tell me how light. I'll keep scrolling it.
More like a sky blue.
Lori, have you played with a version that took the horizontal lines extending from the E and the G and ended those at the letters, and gone with more of like the blue to the right of the E and left of the G? Have you done a version like that?
You may say again. I'm not quite sure what
So
you're asking for.
You look at for example, the part of the G that goes back into the half circle, I think what he's saying is looking at something that shortens that and just having the.
Oh, and not having anything in here.
So the letters are more defined.
Fine,
Yeah, it's hard to.
So in other words, removing this little part here. I can jury rig it real quick. Let me see.
Actually, change
Yeah.
the color on the tail.
Yeah, Lori, what I'm actually talking about is on the other side, on the left of the G,
Right
where
here.
where the wing extends past the arc of the G, and then on the E, where the E would traditionally end at, yes,
right.
those tails, if they were blue, or I think it would make it easier to see that there's a G and an E. It's hard for me to
Right.
see letters there right now.
Yeah, let me work with that. Now I'm going to do a really kind of a down and dirty one. I would go back in and redo
Sure.
it cleanly, but let's just see. I got to cut it apart. Kind of works. And then over here.
Yep. And then just convert those tail colors to the wing.
Yeah, I'm gonna slice it here. Let me outline stroke.
I think it's gonna be clear.
Hold on here. Okay, let me get my Pathfinder. Okay, now this one turns blue. And this one turns blue.
Really impressive. You're doing this in public, Lori.
Yeah, I know. I struggle.
This is why I like Zoom meetings, because I can do this. You know, that's actually a great call. That's a great call, because
Makes it easier.
now this is more balanced.
I would also take the bar of the G, and I would probably not have it go all the way because it looks like a 6.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay, let's
have like the original
yeah,
G.
I can fix that real quick. Let me.
So you can do that in blue. Just take that piece and put it in blue as well. And
Or just take the same thing you did, copy that cut section. Yeah, there you go.
Well, I'm gonna make a new one because I've lost it. Let me see.
The other thing that might look cool is if the wings were longer.
Yeah, just a second. Let me get this little bit done. So you could take that out. Although I kind of like it in there because now you're missing a piece.
I think you need to have the space, but I would turn it blue. There you go.
There.
That way you can see the G and the E, and it doesn't look like a 6.
Yeah, so we definitely have a G and we definitely have an E. That's very, very obvious. And then you said making the wings longer.
Yeah, I think it might look good.
Okay, I'm going to do some surgery real quick. I think I can do it on this one. Because I cut off a piece. I cut off that little corner. So let me bear with me here. I'm creating another wing piece. It's kind of like construction, you know? Okay, don't pay attention to where that's sitting. What I'm going to do is extend the wings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then get that piece back. That's crude. Don't I'm just doing it real quick to see. So that's longer wings. I don't know that I'd go much longer, or you're going to end up with a really wide mark that's kind of hard to, it gets too horizontal.
Mhm.
So that's 5 clicks. Um, let me take it back to,
What if the middle wing is the dark blue?
Or maybe there was another wing below it. So there's 4 bars instead of 3.
Yeah. I was thinking.
yeah. If anything, what I might do, the only thing is this connects
Yeah, right.
and
Yeah.
this connects, and you kind of lose it, and it gets there's too much.
So there's not a whole lot of pressure on Lori in the middle of the meeting.
Hey, I've been doing this long enough. This is what I do every day, so it doesn't bother me at all.
Is the general direction in which she's headed, are we happy with the general direction and give her some guidance on next steps that maybe we could email out, you guys could respond back on? Or are we good with the general direction? Do we like it? Do we hate it?
I like it myself. I think it looks great.
I want to show you an idea that I have in my head. What if instead of going with a red, we went with like a burgundy? Not this color. Hold on. I'm mixing the colors here. Real contrasty. Whoops, this is blue.
I like
Blue.
white and blue, darker colors.
It's a nice contrast kind of a feel. Another suggestion I might make
But I think
is if we went with oops, that's not the color. That's just like a gunmetal. It almost looks like a steel. And your sign could have metal here, and then these could be painted. Could be cool. Anyway, that's just my thoughts of, giving it a very elegant yet still American, still got the red and blue, but it's not the standard flag red and blue that you see a lot.
I think the other thing that I sort of noticed as a marketing professor is the top wing is broken in the interior of the E, but it's not, those wings are not broken in the interior of the G, which is probably hyper technical, but
Well, you got just about the same amount of space here and here
yeah.
and here. So it actually balances out. This whole part could be considered the top of the E, and this could be the bottom of the G. So balance wise, it's probably okay.
It's harder for me to see that that's a G now than it was before, I think. When it looked like the E. But that's just could be me.
So where I was headed with it is if we like the general direction.
Yeah.
And we're good with the design, maybe we can come back with a couple different color combinations, a variety of a red and a blue. Or any other thoughts? I'm not trying to speak for you, just want to make sure we understand the direction.
Yeah, but my goal would be to get whatever this mark is down in one color first. Decide if we like the wings where they are. Go back to black and gray, or just black and, I mean, even all black.
I would vote for the middle one on the left side in shape. Colors, I don't know, you can make it crimson and cream for me.
Hey, I'm right there with you.
Aside from that, I've got a different question.
Yeah.
Edmund Guthrie Regional Airport years ago, it was just whatever municipal airport. And then the feds started going with, everybody was thinking, well, we've got to make ourselves look better. So let's call it a regional airport instead of just an airport that serves a community or a more local area. I know the FAA pushed for some of that because it looked better in Congress. I don't know. That's been 20 years. I don't know that they're still leaning in that direction. But what I'm saying is, if it's good the way it is, it's good. But I'm asking you, if you've been doing this for a while now, you say 30 years, you may have seen that transition early on. You may have noticed it, you may not have. But what I'm thinking is like, Will Rogers. Can I say Will Rogers anymore? It's not the Will Rogers Airport anymore. It's the Oklahoma City International Airport. Do we need to be thinking something like that? And I know that's going to require other changes, when you get to changing that name.
Yeah.
What have you seen anything like that? Are you seeing
Yeah.
any kind of shifts moving away from the regional
I
terminology?
have not. No, I have not. But I think I don't see a problem from a pilot's point of view. Regional airport makes sense. It's two cities. If it was one city, that'd be, that's when you could put municipal in there or whatever. But it's a regional airport. Regional sounds like you're getting traffic from the region, which is a good thing. So I'd say it ain't broke. It tells you what you're getting. Expectation is, and you're even enhancing that with your new terminal. That terminal to me looks like a great regional airport. So I wouldn't change it. I am working with another airport right now that is considering putting their tourism area into their airport name. And there's good and bad because, there used to be another airport that had that in its name. It is no longer there. And I thought, well, I could see the benefit, but it's too soon for them. It's a Texoma thing, and the Texoma Air Park was popular, and it's now closed. And now this other airport's like, well, we want to use it now. I'm like, it's too soon. Maybe 5, 10 years from now might make more sense when everybody's forgotten about the other one, because otherwise they're going to be planning their flights and looking up airports, and they're going to go, wait a minute, I thought this airport was over here, but now it's over there. So Guthrie, Edmond, and the trends I've seen is I haven't seen a lot of people tinkering with the actual name because a lot of them have history. Some of them date back to World War II. So, and they don't really want to do away with that historical part. But in your case, because you have two cities in there, and I don't think putting a name or, anybody's name, unless you really feel like somebody needs to be honored, I think it's great the way it is, honestly. I wouldn't, unless you guys you've had some feedback or people are asking for an update. But in my sense, just from being an end user of it, I don't see a reason to change anything about that.
About interplanetary airport?
People are going to go, what is that? I think.
So I've seen that. There was an airport in Oklahoma that had that hanging on the hangar. I forget where, but it was just a curiosity to me because I saw that.
Yeah.
Stillwater used to be Stillwater Municipal. It's not anymore.
Right.
Stillwater Regional.
They have jet service now. So don't they have one flight out of there? I think that
They have commercial service. Yes.
Yeah. So a municipal airport is kind of a disconnect. So that would be a reason. If you guys even if you started running commercial service out, regional still works.
Right.
So that's the other thing. You don't want to have to go and change it. If you start having drones and you start having air taxis and things 20 plus years from now, you don't want to have to go back and redo things. So regional to me does not pigeonhole you at all. Unless you turn into international, then you start having international flights. That makes sense. But I wouldn't make the change.
Like I said, I wanted to ask the question because I haven't been out there watching lately.
Yeah. I have not seen a trend. No, I have not. That definitely is not something I'm seeing people tinker around with. unless they change their service or they enhance it in such a way it doesn't make sense anymore.
So we'll be good getting, I think we've got enough feedback. If the board feels that way, we can get maybe five or six more options, narrow it down. I could send it to everyone's email and even do a poll if you want, just to get the feedback before we come back here.
Are you talking about color? Are you talking about the color? Okay. Before we go to color, are we good with this as it is? Because I don't want to go to color
Design elements without the color, right?
without because if I do color and they're like, wait a minute, make the wings shorter, then we have 25 different combinations of shorter wings, longer wings, color with shorter wings, color with longer wings. It gets to be a cluster. And so that would be my main takeaway today is approving this black and white, so to speak, version before going to color, so that's kind of where I wanted to this meeting.
I think the one that you did when you did grayscale on the wings, I think that does make it clearer.
In black, it was very hard to see.
It was really
Yeah.
Completely black. It was very hard to
She
see.
did differently though. It was interesting to me in the moment it happened. When you distinguish between the G and E, and she made them different colors just accidentally in the shading, and it became more evident just to me in that split second that it's a G and an E.
Yeah, I was gonna make that
Right.
point. We have different colors on the G and the E, to make it stand out more, like Bill said.
Well, you could even, we could also do that, but there's going to be times where you don't have color, like if you, God forbid, if you still fax things, or, if you have printed pieces that aren't color, that are just out of your laser printer or your copier or whatever, that are black and white, you will have a black and white version. And what I can do there is,
Laurie, I think what they're talking about is if you did a third grayscale tone. Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Let me get. And the wings could be lighter because they're not the lettering.
Right.
And actually, the colors that we're kind of playing around with, ooh, that looks really good.
That actually looks the best.
That looks really good.
Hey, would you do one more thing for me? Put the G back to the way it originally was for a sec. When that section that connects back to the G. Let me just see what that looks like really quick in black.
Say
that section.
This part?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like a 6.
It looks like a 6
It
too.
looks like a 6.
It looks like a G to me, but it's I'll defer. Okay.
But I think those two differentiated.
Different letters.
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So when we go to color, I'll do, I can do, I'm just playing around here, but if we decide to go with reds, or are there any other colors you guys would like to see? Because I can explore the ones that I was playing around with. But again, if we're good with this, I just want to make sure before we move on, if this is good to go with this arrangement.
What are Edmund's colors? Are they green?
What?
Like,
Kind of a mint green or something like that.
Well, it's kind of, it's a tree.
Yeah, the one with the tree growing out of it.
That's what
And it is greens, isn't it?
Yeah, it probably wouldn't work in this logo.
How do we?
The only way a green, I don't typically see associated with aviation, but you could go, if you did a green.
What's Guthrie's color?
Blue.
Blue. So blue and green. So the G in blue and the E in green.
Oh, I did it the other way around. Let me see. So is it for city colors?
Yeah,
What color blue and what color green?
that's kind of the Guthrie Blue Jay too.
Yeah.
The E
That's
is
actually pretty close.
pretty
to
close.
Yeah, that's it actually.
Well, that's cool. You know what? Green symbolizes growth too, so that's not a bad thing.
And money.
You know, I always,
And money.
there's
Say
a
again?
patriotic theme rising in America these days. Because of that, I kind of like what young Ryan said. I like the red, white, blue.
I do too.
Okay, so just making sure we're good with the black and white.
Yeah,
I'm drifting into, okay, I just want to make sure because we're kind of going into that territory. All right, let's do this. I'm going to take this one since it's kind of our master.
Looks good.
Well, I think it's more that identifies the cities, but I do like the red, white, blue thing as well.
So let's try. Now I got to be careful when I go to the final blue on this. I'm going to mix myself a new one because if I go 100% cyan, 100% magenta, and somebody tries to print it and they sneeze, it'll go purple. And you do not want purple. You don't want it to go purple. I've seen that happen so many times. So I've just altered it a little bit to be more of a, that's probably more of a flag blue anyway. But that's just one of the things to consider on blues is you got to be real careful that there's not too much magenta in it or it'll print purple if you don't have a good printer doing things for you.
Purple is color of royalty.
Well, that is true. But we don't want to look so bougie that the general aviation people don't land there. You see what I mean? If you look all royalty, you're only going to get Learjets and, you know, the poor flight students won't feel welcome.
What about light blue on the wings?
On this one
Uh-huh.
or on both? We could try to both, see what happens.
I would try both of them.
Let's lighter. Let's go lighter than that.
I like the gray.
Yeah. Great.
The thing about it is that unless what you want to do is control the logo in terms of registering it and trademarking it, you can, people are gonna probably, I've changed the color on this depending on the shirt that I have printed it on because some of the lighter shirts that I have, the original sort of logo colors don't work. So.
That's another thing I want to bring up. When we get done with the colors, I will provide a version. Let's just say you have a black polo shirt, blue polo shirt, whatever. Let me find a navy blue. That's purple. See what I mean? You got to really be careful. Okay, so deep, let's just say you want to put this on a shirt that's not white. I will provide you guys versions to go on dark backgrounds. So in other words, the wings would stay the same, the green would stay the same, the blue would need to lighten up. Do you know what I mean? Same color scheme, works on a dark background. Just letting you know, that's just an example. You will get logos that you will not have to go to the embroiderer and say, use different colors. My logo doesn't work. You're going to have one that's for that purpose. So just keep in mind that whatever we do here on the white, I will do a version that goes on a dark background, whether it's blue or black or whatever. That's black. That actually looks really good on the black. Or purple. Anyway, I'll let that go away. So this is city colors up here.
Yeah, that is.
And then this one's more the patriotic. You know, they both work. So it's just, again, that's preference.
Like if you take the word Edmund and put it in the same color as the E. Yeah. So make it look too disjointed or would it kind of bring it together? Nope. I don't know. Actually, it kind of does work. I don't know that I like it better though.
It might become complicated because there will be a time when I do provide these, I'll also provide you this mark by itself, and you may end up sometimes separating Guthrie Edmond and having the mark somewhere else. Like let's say you have Guthrie Edmond on the side of your hat and you have the mark on the front of it. It's going to look funny by itself where there's just a green Edmond. That's my only concern with that is it becomes a pain when it limits your capability and flexibility to use the logo. That's my only concern with that. It's not a deal breaker though. It can still work. let me take this one. It's probably pretty rare that you would separate them, but like if you wanted your horizontal, I would almost.
I don't hate it either way, but I'm not invested in one or the other.
Yeah, let me look at it all blue.
It made more
No,
sense.
no,
Yeah.
I think just leaving it one color, but you still see the G and the E, and the fact that there's a meaning, that they are the city, part of the city colors is kind of cool. So, where's the right blue? There we go. I'm kind of digging this color scheme though.
I may, I may be wrong, but I'm thinking that the green in the E is a little bit too much, Irish green compared to the Edmund. I think the Edmund green is more of a forest green.
You might
Okay,
get,
I'm gonna pull up the City of Edmond website and I'll pull the color off of there. Let's see. Yeah, that's a forest green on there. That's like a really dark green. Actually, that's kind of nice. Let's see if I can. It's like almost a black. Unless that's not right. Let me see if there's another Edmund.
Darker than what it is.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like that.
it doesn't, no.
Okay, I'm gonna pull up a different one and see if I can find a different one that came. Oh, here's another one. This is probably more accurate. Yeah, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Where's my eyedropper? There it is. Boop. That's classy, super classy. And what you can do, since this is so dark, is you can make regional airport to green, which might look nice. Sorry, a little housekeeping there. Now I better look at the Guthrie color. I'm gonna pull that up.
Pretty close. Oh, that's a pretty close drawing.
Well, I think we're
Yeah,
set
I'm good.
on the design. So yeah, if you wanted to send us some iterations of that, we could probably pick from a list.
That's funny. Look at that. Guthrie's got
Green in it as well. Yeah.
the blue and a green in it. That's interesting. I'm really close. Wow. Dang. All right, let's sample it and see what it looks like. It's a little lighter. Not a bad thing.
I think the consensus is sort of that the overall look and feel of the design is solid.
Cool. I would probably, that was the Guthrie blue. To me, it's a little light. I almost would go with this one, the darker, deeper one, because of the contrast. But what I'll do at this point, I feel comfortable like exploring some colors and then sending them to you guys for approval, unless we want to work it out here. I know you guys have more stuff on your meeting agenda and I don't want to take up your meeting, but would you like me to go ahead and just come up with some and send them to Caden and you guys can review?
We'll do that. If you'll send me some mock-ups, I will send them out and get some polling responses, and we'll meet back hopefully next month.
Okay, any other color combos you want to see? I know we want to explore red and blue. The city colors, any others?
I like
We kind of,
grayscale wings. I think that's pretty.
I think it
the gray looks good. Yeah, I think for any of them, we ought to do the wings gray. That way you can make them out of metal on the sign.
All right. Are there any other questions? Comments?
No, it looks great. Thank you.
I don't think
All
there's.
right, thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Sure, no problem. Let me see if I can figure out how to get you back to host. I don't know how to do that. I'll just do you know how to do that?
Yeah, let me,
Stop sharing. Yeah.
I'll stop the share. There we
Yeah.
go. Okay. Let me see.
we're good.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Lori.
I'll see you guys. All right. Bye-bye.
All right, so the item doesn't require any action. There's no action is indicated that it can be taken. So thank you all for the input. I think that's, yeah, I think we've got a solid start on the design that we can move forward with. I do think that it is an updated sort of refreshed look that's more contemporary than maybe what we had. So item number, go ahead.
Would that replace the sign out at the street on Division 2?
We would like to, yes.
That looks like a whole different design, but. Yeah, we've had some discussions internally and in the past with the board about, maybe a nice brick sign that's lit, it's lit up. And we'd like to do that to the airport as well as the entrance points to the city and kind of make a cohesive look.
Right.
So.
All right. Item number 5, discussion and possible action to approve the acceptance of the city's acquisition of a parcel number 1 from Barry and or Carrie Cogburn, trustees of the Cogburn Living Trust dated November 8, 2023 for $951,000 contingent upon the Federal Aviation Administration, Oklahoma Department of Aviation and Aeronautics grants acceptance and final Guthrie City Council approval. Director Young.
So in order for land acquisition to be eligible for federal and state participation, the appraisal and offer process must follow FAA guidelines because we're utilizing our funds. The appraisals were conducted in accordance with the Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisals Practice. They look very similar to a normal residential or commercial property appraisal that you may be familiar with. The federal process essentially requires the opinion of 2 different appraisers. An initial appraisal was completed for this property. Then a second review appraiser reviews that original appraisal and makes any adjustments they feel are necessary or confirms that it's accurate, no changes are needed, as was the case with this property. And the review appraisal is the basis for the initial offer. The appraised amount is what must be initially offered. There is some small room for negotiating an amount above the appraised value, as the FAA recognizes that there are often significant additional costs associated with condemnation. But the FAA is going to review what they think that is, and then they'll adjust what they will allow us to spend accordingly.
And also, just to throw in there, anything above appraisal has to have a justification tied to it. So it's not just, hey, I don't like your appraisal, and I know that you're going to incur costs going to condemnation, so we're going to negotiate. No, you're going to have a factor of some kind, show a real loss of revenue or a hardship that would be undue in this process. So just want to throw that in there. Give some great points, Caden, but continue. Yes.
Director Artie's with the state. We will be using state funds for these as well. He's aware of the amount of the appraisal. He's indicated that the ODAA will support this appraisal with the grant. He has requested that we utilize 2 years of our AIG dollars. We've been banking those up on purpose. We've been prepared to use those AIG dollars. That's not an issue for us. Upon completion of negotiation, which we've done, we'll do it with the Martins as well. We'll prepare an FAA grant application for FY26, which we're currently in. Since the AIG funds are kind of in a separate bank, separate from our entitlements, they're actually going to be easier to justify for this project. And it's been on our CIP for about 3 or 4 years now, at least before I came on board. And so the FAA is very much aware that we're doing it. The funding is lined up, and we're ready to make this final offer upon your approval. Once the airport board approves, it will go to the Guthrie City Council for final approval, and we'll move forward with purchasing this property.
Are there any questions? Yes.
Several things. Used to be that the city would have to purchase the property first and then come back and get reimbursed with federal grants.
That's what's happening in this process. So the item will say contingent upon FAA and state grants. And so we will be purchasing the property and we will be duly reimbursed by both federal and state.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, contingent upon the grant being received is what I thought I heard. So that's a different, of course, a different color. But you are gonna pony up, buy the property, and then get FAA money, okay?
Yes.
Does the appraisal also consider?
Oh, no, sorry. I'd only printed 2 of those before the meeting. I can definitely get you some more copies.
$80 here?
Does the appraisal also look to previous land use? What I'm looking for here, what I'm thinking is there anything environmentally that could have ever been in the ground that once we purchase it, we own it?
It's a great question. It's a separate process, usually done through a NEPA review. What the appraisal is going to look at is the highest and best use of the property. So they were saying, okay, this property is best suited for development. Then I'll just tell you, it ties into a multifamily apartment complex, right? So it would make sense that would be the highest and best use, if not for the airport. So they're going to use that as a commercial rating in order to come up with the appraisal, which is what they did. We feel, based on the appraisal and what we've seen on the comps, the comparables, we feel it's a good offer for what we're going after. Now, in terms of, to answer your direct question about, is there something with the soil contaminants? No, NEPAs were done as part of the appraisal process. That would be something that would come later as a construction.
Okay,
Unless you have a hesitation.
no, you see where my head's at.
Yeah.
Because you could wind up buying something and find out that there's 10 tons of uranium buried 20 feet under the ground. But you didn't know about it. And once you own it, you own it.
We'll be able to print more copies of these maps.
Well, Concord's been around town for a long time.
Well, that's what I mean. You know, when I worked for the state, there was times when we found places that were Indian burial grounds once upon a time. And you're not gonna fuss with that. And once that's revealed.
And the good thing we can do at the point that we're in, once the board and the council authorize the purchase, you could make it contingent upon a clean environmental study.
An archaeological release.
Yep, archaeological release, all the good stuff. So
Yeah, all that stuff.
and typically that takes place in your, I think it's a TR&R period. Once you sign a contract, right, you've got 10 days to do any type of evaluations that you'd like to do. And any property we purchase, we always do a phase 1 NEPA at that time. So this is a little different because of the FAA process. But if you want to make that part of the motion, I don't see any issue with that.
I just want to make sure everybody that's involved is thinking down those lines, because it could jump up and bite you.
Absolutely, yes, sir. Good questions, good points.
Well, with regard to the cultural, since we've had several grants that have been impacted by that, there are no requirements under the FAA or the AAA for those kinds of cultural impact studies like we've had on the trails, as far as I know. Is that correct?
Not to my knowledge, sir. That section 106 process is triggered through like a public comment period. And traditionally, those are on projects that have a dedicated public use. And while the airport is a public use, it's still a facility that is secure. So it's a public use airport, yes. I don't have the right terminology for that, but different from a trail in that your common person can't walk in and utilize and access the facilities, if that makes sense.
All right, is there a motion to approve the acceptance of the city's acquisition of parcel number 1 from Barry and or Carrie Cogburn, trustees of the Cogburn Living Trust dated November 8, 2023 for $951,000 contingent upon the FAA ODAA grant acceptance and final approval of the Guthrie City Council? Motion. There's been a motion made. Is there a second? There's been a motion made by Member Husky, seconded by Member Strong. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. And the chair of the ayes have it, having received the majority of those supported to the constituting the board. The motion passes. Item number 6, discussion of possible action to approve the financials of the month of July. I'll note the financials were provided to you in advance. Are there any questions, additions, corrections for the financials? Director, do you have any comment?
No, sir.
No comment. Is there a motion to approve the financials for the month of July?
So moved.
There's been a motion made by Member Wallace. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion made by Member Wallace, second by Board Member Williams. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Having received the majority of those appointed to the constituting board, motion passes. Discussion and possible action, because we did not have a meeting as a result of the Joint Council Edmond Guthrie Regional Airport Board meeting and presentations. We also have the month of July and also the month of August to approve. So is there, I will note the financials are sent out right in the packet by staff. Are there any questions, additions, corrections, comments regarding the financials for the month of August? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the financials for the month of August?
So moved.
There's been a motion made by Member Wallace. Is there a second?
Second.
There's been a motion made and seconded by Member Strong. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Continuing with the chair, the ayes have it and received the majority of those appointed to the constituting board. Item 7, the final approval of financials for the month of August passes. Item number 8, discussion of possible action to approve the 2026 calendar schedule, year schedule of the regular meetings of the Guthrie Edmond Regional Airport Board. The schedule was printed for packet and sent out and emailed to the members and included in the stuff that was posted online. Are there any questions, concerns, comments about 2026 calendar year and times? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the 2026 calendar year schedule of regular meetings for the Guthrie Edmond Regional Airport Board?
I move to accept.
There's been a motion made by Member Young to accept the schedule of regular meetings for the Guthrie Edmond Regional Airport Board. Is there a second? All right, but a motion made and seconded by Member Husky. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Have received the majority of those supporting to the constituting board. Motion carries. Item number 9, Director Airport Director Young's report.
Yes, I was just going to spend my report to give a quick update really quick on the taxiway project. Right now they're undergoing phase 3. And so the closure at taxiway Charlie and then taxiway Alpha between Alpha 3 and Alpha 4 is ongoing. Really good news on this project. This is actually phase 6. Phase 6 was going to be a 4-week project and it was going to happen chronologically at the very end, but we actually went through during the beginning of this phase and they went ahead and closed this taxiway, sat down with the contractor and our engineer and decided that the electricians were ready to get this done. And so they have already completed all of the electrical work that needed to be done in phase 6. And so if you go out here, you'll see the new LED lights. There's now concrete around them, much better than what we had. Of course, eventually the rest of the taxiway edge lights will be replaced, headed all the way south. But that is great news. It kind of saved us a 4-week phase there. So we now don't have, we've taken care of phase 1, phase 2 is complete, and now phase 6 is complete. So now that we're in phase 3, this will last for about 2 to 3 more weeks. Once phase 3 is completed, what we're going to be looking at next is phase 4. This will be the closure phase. Now, we've told the contractor that we want the closure phase to occur anywhere from December 15th to January 15th was kind of our priority dates. We also talked about all of January. We know it's going to be a 30-day closure. The contractor would like to move on to phase 5 and finish a lot of phase 5. Phase 5 is about 165 days long of a project. It's the longest phase of this entire taxiway realignment. And so our suggestion to them, and we're still working out the schedule right now, is once they finish phase 3 here in about 2 to 3 weeks, we want them to jump over to phase 5. And then whenever it hits the December to January timeframe, we're looking to get them on the schedule to coordinate moving to phase 4 and then moving back to phase 5 once they've completed phase 4 at that time. And we'll finish up the rest of the project. And of course, back to my original good news, we no longer have a phase 6. So the project timeline has been cut down a bit. Of course, it is all very, very dependent on our good weather days. But so far, we've been happy with the progress that Contech has made. So are there any questions on construction? Yes, sir.
Has there been any discussion about the dippity dip?
So they are still analyzing it. I've been making inquiries about once a week. They haven't gotten back to me yet on what that looks like.
Does Grayson's company, are they?
Yeah, so the engineer for the ODAA has actually, when he came out here on his last site visit, we showed him that dip. And so Grayson's team is aware of it. And we've asked for what the funding to fix that could potentially look like. But in the middle of this project, we just haven't figured out how many panels need to be replaced yet. So until we know that, we won't know the cost.
And Toby is reviewing that last time, right?
Toby is, yes.
Yes, so that's
Yeah.
where we're at, where we know Toby is. Okay.
I'm sure it's an increase in cost, but it'll be a reduced cost to do it while they're all here.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
don't know if you'll be able to get it within the change order statutory limit though. So you got 10% of the total project. I'm not sure. That's gonna depend. And that's assuming you don't have any other change orders on the job.
Yeah.
So, but that is something that is something to keep in mind. Yeah. Efficiency wise, while they're here, you're right. It's absolutely never gonna be cheaper.
Yes.
A major question I get, I'll go back to my phase 3. A major question I get is why haven't they moved all this dirt yet? If you look out there, you'll see giant dirt piles. They do not, while Taxiway Charlie was being worked on, they did not want crews moving the dirt south. It eventually will head south as we get into phase 5. But during that process, we had an active taxiway and the contractor and the engineer did not recommend it. And so it's staying where it's at until it can be moved. If the contractor is willing and there is dirt left over, I don't know that will be the case. We have discussed with them about moving dirt into this 23D area where we know dirt's going to be necessary anyways to get that extra hanger in there. That is something that has been discussed, but ultimately that's going to be up to the contractor for their contract. And unless there's any other questions, that's all I have for the director's report.
Thank you. Are there questions to the director? Hearing none, there's no item or action needed on item number 9. We move on to item number 10, which is comments from the airport board. Young.
No comment.
No comment. Ryan the Younger. Looks like we've had airport operation pick up more.
Absolutely.
All right, is that it? Member Strong.
You do one of the best jobs of herding cats of anybody I've seen. Thank you.
Thank you. Ryan the Elder.
No comment.
No comment. Councilman Williams. I would just like to say I'm pleased with the instruction. I come out every morning and look and see what we're doing. And of course I taxi around a lot. I'm glad that Alpha 3 is back open for a bit and that I can not have to back taxi quite so far, so that's been a pleasant improvement for my part. And I have no other comments. Item number 11 is adjournment. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So
But a motion made by Member Wall, seconded by Councilman Williams. There's no discussion on the motion to adjourn. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Any ayes have it. Receive the majority of those. Point between custody and board. We are adjourned.